This video is brought to you by Recurrent, an essential EV tool that gives free access to TFL EV viewers in the US. With Recurrent, EV shoppers can check range and battery info on used cars. EV owners can connect to compare their range and battery health to similar vehicles. And EV sellers can use Recurrent to get more money for their sales. With Recurrent, we can find, drive, and sell electric cars positively. Click on the link in the description below to get free access to Recurrent's amazing EV tools.
The all-new Hyundai Ioniq 9 is finally here, and I want to show it to you all the way outside, inside, and tell you all the specifications, pricing. Well, we have an idea on the price, but first I wanted to show you how big this thing is. It's a proper 3-row crossover that happens to be all electric. But in this in-depth video, I kind of wanted to show you all its features and sit in every seat and show you exactly how big it is, because that wheelbase you just saw right there is about 123 inches, which is about 2 inches more than a Chevrolet Tahoe and actually way bigger than a Ford Explorer or many mid-size 3-row crossovers. I'm actually here in South Korea at this beautiful historic location, and I can kind of show you how this Ioniq 9 fits also into the surroundings, because you could see some classic Korean architecture here and kind of see how this design fits into the overall picture. So once again, as you just saw, this is a pretty big crossover SUV. And the shape of it is also very, very specific, because it has to be very aerodynamic in order to be efficient, in order to be useful and utilitarian, and also luxurious and quiet. You can see that sloping roof line, and it also has kind of a boat tail design. So if you look on the side of it, it kind of slopes towards the rear end, and all of that is done on purpose, because the coefficient of drag of this crossover is 0.0259, and that number, maybe not the lowest of them all, but very impressive. And they're also using new technology underneath, and they put this machine into the wind tunnel. They have 3-dimensional underbelly panels as well, just to make sure that the design is as aerodynamic as it possibly can be. Let's see, let's walk around this way and show it to you in the sun a little bit more. Comes with a variety of different wheel choices, and you're looking at basically the calligraphy, which is a top of the line model. Now let me open this door. Here you go. Here's a look at the interior. I know you may have seen some other videos of this Ioniq 9, but this is my perspective. I come from Denver, Colorado. I live near there. That's where TFL is based, and I'm a pickup truck and SUV guy, so I care a lot about functionality and also comfort, and so we can talk about all of the different specs that this has to offer. First of all, you can see something here. There's basically an exterior camera right there, and you can see a screen both on the passenger side and also right there on the driver's side. This is a Korean spec Ioniq 9, so this feature is not coming to the US, at least yet, because it has to do with government regulations. But we'll have normal mirrors, and I can show you from the driver's perspective what it looks like in a second. But you can see how this is done. There's a little of a shelf here for your devices. iPhone 16 Pro can actually fit under here. Here are your vents, controlled manually. A little calligraphy trim right there. This material is interesting. I haven't seen it used this way in many other vehicles. I want to say, I mean, it looks nice, but I think it's just kind of a veneer. So that's the perception I'm getting from this. This center console is also very trick. I'll show it to you in a second. Really quickly, here's the back seat. Once again, gorgeous. This is a 7-person captain chair orientation. You can see some controls here. You could push this button and you could have this seat come up to reveal the third row. And I think that's one of the most important items of this particular machine. Let me show you that before we get to the other specs. I love this contrast, by the way. And here, if you could raise both of the rear seats. This is basically now a 6-person configuration. If you had a middle bench, that would be a 7-person configuration. Here you go, I'm gonna lift this up. Still a large compartment here for cargo. You can put many different carry-ons here. There is no hitch on this one. This is a reverse light, but it can tow up to 5,000 pounds if properly equipped with a hitch, which is very typical for a 3-row crossover, even internal combustion one. So now if I can get back here, let me get back in. And here you could see I have plenty of headroom. I have my own vents. I have my own 100-watt USB-C. I can recline. And then also I can push this. You can kind of see my knees here. And I'm just about 6'3", my knees touching there. There's a bit of space there, and the front seat is all the way back. So if the front seat moves up a little bit, you'll have more space here in second row, and I'm still comfortable right here at 6'3". So you cannot ask for much more than this in a vehicle of this size. It's under 200 inches long, which is quite a bit shorter than a Tahoe and about the same as an Explorer. But even a big dude like me can sit in the third row without a lot of trouble. So I think that's really neat. And then also, this one comes with these infotainment screens in the back, heated and ventilated seats in the back, controls. There's a cubby here, really large one, and once again, 100-watt USB-Cs for all passengers, basically. Now let me quickly jump in the driver's side, and I can tell you a little bit more about the specs. There's even Ioniq 9 here. Here's what this looks like. All right, so first of all, let's talk about this for a second. Not quite used to this. I'm from the US, so I tend to look out there, but I think this could potentially be a cool feature, especially if you're used to it, because of aerodynamics. You want to make this as efficient as possible, and if you can control the size of your mirrors, it does a couple of things. It makes the vehicle quieter because you're eliminating some wind resistance, and you're also cleaning up some of the design and getting more range. Speaking of range, there's only one battery, lithium ion, in this vehicle. It's in the floor, and that makes for a flat floor design. It's 110.3 kilowatt hours. Now, this doesn't sound like a very huge battery, because if you're looking at something like a Hummer EV, those batteries are almost twice that size. So there's not a lot of options if you're looking for an all-electric 3-row SUV like this. I mean, there's some more expensive ones. Lucid Gravity is kind of similar orientation to this, and that's coming out this year as well. Of course, there's Rivian R1S. A lot of those are pretty higher priced. We're talking about 75, 85, 95,000 bucks. We don't have the final US price on this, but the price of this puppy could be very similar to EV9 Kia 3-row electric SUV, which starts at about 55,000 bucks. But this could actually start in a rear-wheel drive configuration at a lower price than that. So maybe close to 50,000 bucks, which is a pretty amazing proposition. We'll have to wait and see a little bit longer for more data on the pricing. But the horsepower is about 215 if you just had the rear motor, or this is a calligraphy all-wheel drive performance. So there is a front motor, there is a rear motor, it's all-wheel drive, and that's about 422 horsepower and about 516 pound-feet of torque altogether. And this system is really clever. I mean, Hyundai is thinking about each element. You have traction control, you have an off-road, kind of a gravel road mode, you have snow mode. Here's how you control some of them. You can push it down for eco, normal, or sport, or my drive. And there's also terrain modes: auto, snow, mud, and sand. So you have all of those modes. Here again, sport, normal, and eco. And you may be hearing the climate control system. Let me turn this down. It's also the latest generation of their climate control system. All these are digital buttons, by the way, so you can control heat and ventilated seats. You can control your fan speed. It does a beep, but there is not much haptic feedback. So this may not be ideal if you're driving and bouncing around, although this is a physical knob, and the volume and tuning knobs are real physical knobs as well. So, and I also love the hazard button is very prominent and very right there, right in the center. You also have dual 12.3-inch screens. You have your speedometer, you have your power meter, you have many other features. You have ADAS, so driver assistance technologies. We have adaptive cruise control system. We have lane keep assist, front collision assist. This is one of the latest systems, but it doesn't quite drive hands-free quite yet. There's even a monitor for your face, and the steering wheel has haptic touch to sense if you're actually touching your steering wheel. Your start button is right here, your park, drive, neutral, reverse, and I can actually see it really well through the steering wheel. So in some models, just going to sleep now. In some models, you can see it's about 56% and 300 kilometers left. So the range actually on the Ioniq 9 is, for the rear-wheel drive model, for the long-range rear-wheel drive, is EPA, this is United States number, 335 miles of range, which is quite a lot of range, actually. I just powered it up again because it was just sitting here idling all by itself. Let me see if I can. There's another camera crew outside filming. This is a global launch event. Hyundai actually flew me out here to South Korea. We're actually driving from Seoul to Busan and getting to see a lot of this country. This is an amazing experience for me. So we're experiencing the new Ioniq 9. A full driving video is coming up very, very soon. I wanted to finish up on the range because the climate control system, the aerodynamics of this vehicle, the efficiency of the motors, the battery that's not very huge, that controls the weight. Hyundai says these machines we're driving at this calligraphy all-wheel drive Ioniq 9s weigh around 2.6 tons, which is, about 5,700 pounds. So they're around 6,000 pounds, which sounds like a lot, but a lot of three-row SUVs and crossovers actually weigh that much, no matter if they're internal combustion or electric. So I think the weight of this vehicle also helps it get that good rating. I think 335 miles is a good rating. Then charging speed is another element that is very, very important. I could show you the charging port. This will be available with, let me get out here, with NACS or CCS type ports. And on the best high power CCS charger, you will get about 10% to 80% in about 24 minutes, they say. The peak charging rate is around 225 kilowatts, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it doesn't have to be very high peak, because what they're able to do now, even in cold temperatures, you could see some snow right down here. What they're able to do is actually allow the battery to maintain a relatively high charge rate for much longer. So that's how you can get those 10% to 80% fast charge level 3 times to around 24, 25 minutes, which is actually the amount of time that it would take me at the rest stop maybe to use the restroom and grab a small snack. So I think if that's true, and we'll be able to charge it soon, so that video is coming up. If that's true, then this would be an excellent vehicle. That climate control system is also very smart, and it has active aerodynamics, and it's able to shut outside air, enable outside air automatically to cool the cabin or to cool the electronics on board. These little windows actually can open up or close. They're closed right now. It has a lot of sensors. Looks like a large radar sensor. There's a camera in the windscreen, cameras in the windscreen. There are other sensors up above. The roof is completely smooth. There are no shark fin antennas. So they've really been thinking about the technology of this vehicle. The styling, I'll let you decide. I'm here. You can see how it looks next to some traditional Korean architecture. You can decide for yourself if you love this or dislike it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the styling of this new Ioniq 9. I think if you dislike certain styles of the Hyundai SUVs, you have choice, because you have a new Hyundai Palisade coming up very soon. You have Ioniq 5, you have Ioniq 6. So if you don't like one design, there's many more designs for you to look at, including even the Santa Fe, the Tucson. You have different sizes of crossovers and SUVs in their lineup, and ability to choose the styling that kind of fits your taste and your lifestyle. So like I said, we don't have final pricing yet, but they're saying this base vehicle with rear-wheel drive starts at 67 million Korean won, which translates to about $47,000 at the current exchange rate this week in middle of February 2025. But I doubt it could be 47 grand to start in the US. It will be built, assembled in Georgia, in the United States, for the United States market. You can see kind of the blinkers go off. So you have the blinker in this area. You have the main lamps here. And it also, of course, will be, over-the-air updates will be available to update certain systems, but also get new features. So feature on demand. And there's rumors of different light patterns that you can get on demand, basically making your vehicle more personalized for your needs and your likes. And it's not clear if it's going to be subscription based or if it's going to be a one-time charge. So that's to be seen still. So performance-wise, for this high performance all-wheel drive, we're talking about a 0 to 60 mile an hour in about 4.9 seconds ish. So if you don't get the performance model, there's also an all-wheel drive standard model, and that can accomplish the same thing in about 6.9 or 6, in that range. And the rear-wheel drive only model can accomplish that acceleration in about 8.2 seconds. So electric vehicles don't have to be all about all-out performance. They can also be about efficiency, usability, and utility. I don't know exactly what the payload of this is because there's no sticker in the door. You can kind of see right now, there is a frunk, and the size of the frunk, it depends on if you have rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. If you have a front motor, the frunk space is a little bit less. If you have a rear-wheel drive one, then the frunk space will be more. Here I wanted to show you the charge port. So this is a CCS. NACS will also be available. So in the United States, you'll be able to purchase that. Charge times may be a little bit slower on version 3 NACS because we don't have a lot of version 4 Tesla superchargers that basically provide NACS charging standards. So we don't have a lot of the data on version 4. But version 3, they say it's a little bit slower than CCS, at least right now. But if you're charging at home on level 2, it's also capable of up to 11 kilowatts of charging speed. Here now, the light signature here, when you turn your brakes on, it goes away almost all the way around here on the top, and also these vertical lines, and it lights up in red. You can see how clear, kind of clean design right there. I'm just going to open this one more time. I wanted to show you kind of a fun Easter egg I found. There's a little port here, but this is 250 volt Korean. It looks like a smile, like a little face. So I just wanted to show you that little tiny tidbit. There's also 12 volt right here, and another button for the to be able to close the hatch. But you can see how much space there is. It's quite interesting because an electric vehicle allows you to package the powertrain in a very space efficient manner, and you can see how big that door is, and that door opening is very, very huge. So you're able to package the powertrain in a very efficient manner, and you can kind of see another film crew is working here to do videos. This is a global launch event, and there are about probably 60 outlets here. 60 all at once. So let me show you a little bit more around the other one. Thank you. So let me walk this way. Here's another one. Here's another Ioniq 9. This one is in white. You can kind of see how it looks over here. Actually, I like this white color. That looks quite nice. Let me just show you a slightly different interior orientation. And by the way, the other thing I forgot to mention is that these chairs do have recline, massage, and footrest. So if you're actually stationary, and I think they're very comfortable. You could extend this. You could extend this. You could scooch this back, lower this, raise the headrest, and this becomes almost like a business class airplane seat. And there is one here, one for the front passenger, and in this captain chair configuration, 1, 2 in the second row as well. So you could really lounge out, except right now you'll be able to, you're kind of crushing the rear passengers. So you just have to be mindful of what's going on in the vehicle. But as far as comfort, this interior has it. There's also a shade right there, you could see, blocking the sun. And now there's also this beautiful color here as well. This green one. Oh wow, the wind is picking up. It's very cold. It's about 32 degrees Fahrenheit around here. So here's another look at this green version of the Ioniq 9 with this slightly different interior, or actually similar interior to what I just showed you. Yep, that's about the same. Apologize for some of the water bottles because a lot of the journalists are actually using these. Here's what the rear screen looks like. We're actually driving long distance, so we just stopped here for lunch, and as such, all of these vehicles are a little bit dirty with a few of our items inside of them. Like I said, there's like 60 people here. So hopefully this gives you a cool perspective into the new Ioniq 9. Let me go from this side. So now you know about how big it is, what type of pricing to expect. I'm thinking about 55-ish to about $75,000 to $80,000 potentially. Once again, we don't know the price exactly. The performance I think is there as far as range is concerned. We'll have to test it a little bit more for all-wheel drive models. We don't have the final numbers from the EPA quite yet. And also acceleration performance. But I think the interior space and comfort is almost second to none. It's very impressive. So let me know what you think in the comments below as far as the design of it, the features, the performance, the technology that's in here. Let me know, and I'll see you next time very, very soon.